subscribe to the channel.
Entry.
Nut subscribe to the channel. Noel Rogers subscribe to the channel.
Entry.
Impulse Kid Entertainment subscribe to the channel.
Entry.
Luke Chef subscribe to the channel.
Entry.
Drake 8545 subscribe to the channel.
Entry.
Jifi Walal Ka subscribe to the channel.
Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. I hope we're all having a good night. I hope we've all seen Once and Always, because I will be going into spoilers a little later in the night. Real quick though, before we get started, want to say a thanks to everybody who's subscribed since the last stream. That's what all the alerts were playing during the start screen. I have them saved up in my Stream Elements activity feed, so I like to play them during the start screen. Hopefully I got everybody who's subscribed since the last stream. If you are watching live right now and you didn't see your name in there, I guess go ahead and unsubscribe and resubscribe, and hopefully it'll play a live alert. And speaking of alerts, if you want to support the stream and my content in general at any point during this live stream, a great way to do that is by clicking on the Tip Me link at the top of the video description. There you can leave a tip through the Stream Elements of any amount, and it will play a text-to-speak message as an alert if you do so. In the event that doesn't work or has any hiccups, I am prepared to do a little bit of tech support, but we got a big night ahead of us. We're going to be talking about the Power Rangers 30th Anniversary Special, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, which came out on Netflix late last night. I've watched it twice now, once right after I got up this morning, and once just before getting set up for the stream. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to do a little bit of spoiler-free as we unbox the first thing, but I will be diving into full spoilers before too long. and we have a lot to unbox tonight. There's a total of 13 items here, so I'm gonna go a little more rapid fire than I have in previous streams because I don't want to be on all night. But real quick, let's see how it's popping in the chat. We got Buster, we got Johnny Marrero. Welcome to the chat, guys. Good to see ya, Buster. It has been quite a couple days, hasn't it? Oh my goodness. I have seen it, though, to be honest, there isn't much to spoil that wasn't in the trailers. Fair enough. And I feel like that's actually one of the best parts about it, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. Real quick, let's run down some of the stuff to unbox. I have tonight the Fortnite Victory Royale series arcade cabinets. I have a couple of Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron Series 2 blind boxes. I have the Micro Galaxy Squadron AAT Battle Tank, which, wow, that's a lot of glare on that. I've got the G.I. Joe Classified Series Tiger Force Wakando. The Marvel Legends Conchu Build-A-Figure Wave Classic Loki. The Mythic Legions Malleus and Fup. That's why you don't try and grab two things at once. That's going to happen to you. Getting a little overzealous. Getting a little over ahead of myself. And then we have Marvel Legends Across the Spider-Verse, The Spot. But, of course, most relevant to this stream is going to be the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Deluxe Eye Guy. And the remastered Mighty Morphin Blue and Yellow. Yeah, I went in on this line. But we're going to go through everything. We're going to talk about it in the best succession I can once I get Fup back up there and on display and back some of this stuff up just ever so much so I have a little more desk space going on. And I did put a fresh blade in my box cutter since the last stream, so we hopefully shouldn't have any hiccups there. Vac got hooked on Fortnite toys. Yeah, let's go ahead and pop into that thing first if I can find it. There it is, all the way in the back. I didn't get hooked on Fortnite toys. This is another thing I got on sale. This was part of the BBTS spring sale. I think these are normally like $15. I got it for $7, which I think is a really good deal. Because I've wanted one of these since they announced them. The Hasbro Fortnite line hasn't been a huge intrigue for me. It's like once or twice they'll do one that I'm like, oh, that's a cool design. Maybe I'll get that if I have some spare money outside of the spare money that I spend on toys for franchises I really like. But that's never happened until like with Brutus, where I found him on clearance at Walmart, or with this, where it was part of the BBTS spring sale. And I got it literally just because I think excuse me. I think an arcade cabinet excuse me, I'm gonna take a drink of water. Pace yourself, folks. Trying to remember where I was. These things are basically accessory packs for the line. You get a few accessories with each one, and then it's just kind of like a nice little arcade cabinet facade, which I think is a nice little background piece for figure photography and things of that nature. And that's really why I wanted it, was just to use as a accessory for figure photography. But I'll check I guess how the weapons work with this guy and how they scale and everything. But I'm going to go ahead and start cracking into it. And let's talk a little bit about Once and Always. I am really surprised with how well the special has been received, because I don't know about everyone else, but I was just the teeniest bit trepidatious with this thing, because I don't know, anniversary specials, they just really haven't quite hit them right since Forever Red for me. Like, Once a Ranger was pretty good, but it's in overdrive, so it has this vague, like, veneer of not great. And then Legendary Battle, well, I've already said enough about Legendary Battle. And Dimensions in Danger, it's pretty good, but it's also, again, held back by the season it's in. I don't particularly like Ninja Steel, so there's some stuff in there that's like, I'd rather this wasn't here. But this one, I thought, was really good because they didn't try to incorporate it into what's currently going on. They were able to do it at a point where there isn't actually a show currently airing that you have to promote, and they made it very specifically. Like, they signal posted, it's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, not Power Rangers Once and Always. So it's very specifically about MMPR's 30th anniversary and characters that were involved with MMPR. And I think that was a smart decision, and I think it helped really well in not just promoting the thing, but in making it, because I feel like it turned out really dang well. And just getting into this thing here, I think a lot of the acting was better than I expected. There's still like a few wonky bits here and there. The production value was insane for modern Power Rangers. I was really impressed with how most of the effects worked. There was one thing in particular I didn't like, and I think the writing was just incredibly solid. Like, everything is like really, really good for what I had come to expect from a Power Rangers anniversary special. Though there's like one or two teeny little nitpicks I have with it that you're just always going to have with these kinds of things as a fan, I think. But I've got this thing mostly opened up, and we'll take a look at it in just a second. But I do want to finish up spoiler-free talk by saying I gave the special an 8 out of 10. I think it's a perfectly solid, good watch that everybody should check out. Well worth your time. And you're gonna be able to get into it as long as you have like a general knowledge of the first two seasons, I would say. Like, there are a lot of really minute Easter eggs and whatnot that hardcore fans like myself will freak out over, but they're not like super called attention to. It's not like they're going, remember this all the time. It's like, oh yeah, that thing, moving on. Oh yeah, that thing, moving on. It's very quick. It doesn't have as strong of a member berries quality as I was thinking, and because of that, I think it's actually the most casual fan-friendly nostalgia thing I've seen in quite a while. I would highly recommend it both to hardcore fans and to casual fans who only kind of remember who the Power Rangers were. So yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, I would say go see it. It's worth the $6 for 1 month of Netflix to go check out, in my opinion. Yeah, any point past this, we're going to be into spoiler territory. So if you're watching live, click off, go watch the special, come back, watch the replay later. If you're watching the replay right now, hey, pause it, go watch the special, come watch the rest. But let's see what I've missed in the chat while I was going through all that. Dimensions in Danger is slightly in retrospect, but not by much. IMO, it's pretty eh. Yeah, it's not the best. Like, it's the best episode of its season, but it's not the best. Glad there isn't any Cosmic Fury tie-ins, how they just let the story breathe, yeah. Also really appreciate how flawed they made Billy in this special. Yeah, all the Rangers, like, they felt so different from their MMPR versions. Like, they had grown into real people. Because that was always one of my biggest criticisms of MMPR, is the characters are just written as goody two-shoes examples for kids to look up to. Which, I mean, there's a way to write that makes sense, but at the time it was very one-note, and the characters didn't really feel three-dimensional until later seasons of the show. But here, they feel very much like real people. Not just Billy, but Zach has some sort of personal moments that I wasn't expecting. And, like, there's not a ton with the others who return, but what they get is very good and feels natural for their characters. But let's take a quick look at this thing. This is the orange arcade cabinet, so there's just some nice sticker detailing on it. You can see it's not super big. Like, here is a Marvel Legends next to it, so it's about the size I guess you'd expect it to be. Here it is with Brutus. One complaint I have, joysticks are just a solid piece. They don't move at all. The buttons are painted on, so it is a little cheap, but I understand there's like, these are meant to be just like a cheap add to your collection, expanded out type thing, because the accessories it does come with, you get this this plunger spiked mace looking thing. You get a disco grenade, is what I'm going to call this. I don't play Fortnite, so I don't know any official terms for this stuff. And you get a big-ass sniper rifle. So, I'm going to see real quick, can Brutus hold this sniper rifle fairly well? Oh yeah, that's not too bad. Looks pretty good. Like, if you're just looking for a G.I. Joe sniper rifle or something like that for your figures, I don't think you can go too bad with that. I could take or leave the other things because they're a little goofy for my taste, but that's the Fortnite aesthetic. I understand that that's just how things are gonna look. Yeah, overall, pretty solid. One more thing, I do like that on the inside, there's a weapons rack for not just the accessories in this set, but I think, yeah, there's some extra ones on there, so you can put as many accessories as you'd like in there. It's kind of hard to, there we go. Yeah, so just like that. Nice, solid little expansion pack for the Fortnite line, I think. I'm going to go ahead and pop it all over here, though. And what is going on with the chat? Wish we got more Rocky. I can agree with that. Getting into spoiler talk here, I can agree with that. He probably could have done with, like, maybe one or two extra things. But it's still incredible that they gave him so many W's in this, considering Rocky was mostly a joke character in MMPR, I remember. Like, a lot of his standout moments are like the goofier episodes, like Rocky Just Wants to Have Fun, or, oh, I always forget what it's called, but the episode of Zeo where he starts turning into a tree. Like, those are the episodes you remember, and then the I'm gonna take my tamales and get out of here gag from A Season to Remember. That's like the big Rocky moments in my mind. But here, he was played fairly seriously. He still got a few silly moments, but he got some really good fight choreography to do. He was depicted as a firefighter, which was a cool little update to the character, showing where he is later in life, in my opinion. And yeah, just like a solid support role, which is what Rocky's always kind of been. But it was a very good showing for him. I think Steve Cardenas did a good job stepping back into the role, and I'm glad they actually gave him a fair amount of lines in this, because the last time we saw him was Dimensions in Danger, and I only remember him having one line in that episode, which is just saying, like, the Ninja Steel Rangers are cool. Which, soft disagree there, Rocky. Soft disagree. Disappointed that Bryan Cranston didn't come back for Robo-Snizzard. Yeah, that is one of my very few complaints. Like, they got almost everyone else back, and Robo-Snizzard, I'm impressed with the voice actor they got. It sounded pretty close to Bryan Cranston's original voice, but it wasn't actually him, and you could tell. And that's that's unfortunate. Like, I understand he's a busy, big, actual, like, real Hollywood actor now, but you could have just done it over the phone, buddy. It's only a few lines, but that's like a minor complaint in the grand scheme of things. It is very cool that they got everyone they got back, that they put the effort into updating the voices and whatnot. I really liked that they actually put in the effort, because a big problem with recent Power Rangers seasons is they've been dubbing over old footage when showing it. And in this, they didn't do anything like that. They kept it all pretty respectful. They kept original audio in there. And during the cemetery fight scene, they actually used archival audio of Amy Jo Johnson and Jason David Frank for the Pink and Green Rangers. It's a shame that they didn't use that they didn't use anything for Austin St. John. That was clearly Steve Cardenas' voice coming out of the Red Ranger in that scene, but I kinda can let that slip, just because it's impressive that they even did that. But let's move on to something else. I don't know. Do I want to go into something a little more small, or tell you what? Let's go ahead. Let's crack into something Power Rangers, because we want to keep the discussion going for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and pop into iGuy here, because I've been a staunch defender of the Monsters line since day one. I don't think it's as bad of a job as most people say it is. And I really do enjoy the sculpts and just having Monster of the Week figures updated with modern articulation. Like, I agree the detailing could certainly be better. iGuy, in my opinion, definitely has the most need for a wash out of any of the ones we've gotten, but I'll admit, he looks better in person than I expected him to, and he's another thing I got from the BBTS spring sale. He was $17, I believe, and the monster figures usually go for $30. So really happy with that deal. I'm gonna start working on the tray here. I don't think there's any other ties to cut. There's just one at his eye. That's interesting. Okay. Back to Billy. I loved how Robo Rita's origin ties into themes of loss and legacy. Yeah, trying to, I like that we brought Billy back and, like, really made good with his character, I feel like, because, like, it's common knowledge he was unceremoniously written out of the show because David Yost didn't feel comfortable and walked off set. And that whole situation is really terrible. It sucks to see, but I do like that they brought him back and, like, didn't even really make a huge thing out of the whole Aquitar situation. It was mentioned, but they just kind of did it sort of like, I guess the closest thing I could think of is in the MCU, in Iron Man 2, when they swapped out the actors for Rhodey, and he just kind of shows up and goes, "I'm here. It's fine. Let's move on." And I think that's the smartest way to do it. I think it's better to just have him be there and have it tie into who. And have it tie more into continuity and make it more a thing of just, like, making good with the actor than, like, oh, we gotta spend a 10-minute scene explaining how Billy got cured of the issue on Aquitar. No, he fixed it. He figured it out. It's fine. And then having it be that, like, he set up a new command center, that he's got his own company going now, and that he's basically Batmaning it. I thought that was really fun, but overall, I really liked what they gave his character and how they made him sort of feel more human, I guess is the best way to put it. That's yeah, I think I've said that already. I'm kind of going in circles here. Billy couldn't let the past go with Zordon, and it led to tragedy, but by embracing that the memories can be memories and the next generation, he's able to move on. That's a fairly good point. I can definitely see that that read in there. I didn't quite read that deeply into it, but I definitely think that's pretty close to what's going on, Buster. I don't think you're off base there at all. And I like I really like how David Yost played it too. Like, he seemed very confident as Billy. Like, he's been through enough that he is self-assured as a ranger. He doesn't have to force it and get loud or anything like that. Like, I only saw 1 or 2 negative reviews, mostly positive. But the one negative review I saw was like it felt like a lot of the actors were phoning it in was their biggest complaint, and I didn't get that at all. I felt like everybody was pretty on base with how their character was portrayed towards the end of their run, and the even the one where, like, in the preview clips and the trailer, I was like, I don't know about Walter Jones. Seeing the episode now, or I guess the special, I'm so used to saying seeing the episode with Toku Fangs, but seeing the special now, I am really into Walter Jones' performance. I think it really works for the material in this special to have, like, a much calmer, much older Zack, especially with the fact that, again, spoilers, he is a congressman now. I think that's really a cool development for his character. Or he was a congressman at one point, sorry. I can feel the pain in his facial expressions. Yeah, like, the way he's, like, trying to be a good guardian for Min, but, like, doesn't want to overstep his bounds. Like, that felt very true to actual divorced people I've seen in my life. Or actual people who are married into a situation where somebody has a kid who lost a parent, or somebody who's adopted a kid, stuff like that. That's the terminology I was going for. Like, seeing the way he talked about just, like, all the moments with Trini and whatnot, it really did feel true to life. And I'm digging Guy, but I am having an issue getting his dome popped off, because this dome piece right here, this is supposed to come off so you can mess with the eye a little more, and it's not budging on mine, and I don't want to force it on camera because I'm worried I might break it. But I have seen reviews, and that is supposed to come off, which is odd. But yeah, overall, I do like how this guy looks. Like, he looks a lot better in person. I know some people wish that, like, every eye was painted on him, but I think that's a little unrealistic for a retail $30 toy. And I mean, like, I'm impressed that they got some of the eyes on the back even. I wasn't expecting that. And the actual, like, working eyelid is really cool. The fact that you can manipulate the ball in there, pretty neat. And I think this cap is supposed to come off for the effects part. Man, it is. Zack was the reason you got emotional. That's interesting, Buster. I was expecting it more from, like, one of Min's lines. Which, by the way, can we get a hat off to Charlie Kesh, Min's actress? She did a fantastic job in this. Like, for as much as I liked the performances that Walter Jones and David Yost give, she acted circles around them. She was so fantastic. Really felt like she was in a league of her own as an actress. Okay, I'm not gonna pull on that anymore, because that is really stuck in there. Which is weird. But, yeah, he's got his effects part, which should slot in over there if I could get the cap off, which I just cannot get it to budge because of, the fact that it's, I can't get the top cap off. He has a couple alternate fists, but really, I think you're going to want to use the open hands most of the time, unless you're very specifically doing, like, a punching pose. The effects part, or rather, the like, Master Eye, really cool accessory. Love that they gave him this. Love that it has the little, effects around it, and that they're removable, because you can take it off the stand, and then you can take the effects off, and you can use these with a Ranger or with any other toys you have. Just really nice versatility and playability with the Lightning Collection, I feel like. I really like how this line is working out. But Min got you emotional too, but like Zack face is burned into my mind. I will say when Zack was angry at Bill, or when Min was angry at Billy, that hit close to home. Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. That really, that was a big moment for the character. That's the big thing about Min, is like you totally buy her journey. I feel like going from just being completely broken when you first see her, to being like this angsty, vengeful teenager, to becoming a Power Ranger and being fully into it after learning the lesson that vengeance isn't the right way. I feel like it's a really good full-fledged hero origin for her. That even, like, in my opinion, felt better than some of the kids in 2017. The writing and the acting was really strong with her. But I do want to do a couple of comparisons with iGuy before we move on. So here he is next to Lord Zed. I still have the Wave 1 Lord Zed. I know Lord Zed didn't make him. Rita made this monster. Well, technically Finster made this monster. But I don't have either of those figures. So here he is next to Wave 1 Lord Zed. Still really love this figure. Like, there's maybe a few small changes I would have made if they did, like, an update of him. But still really like this Lord Zed. And hey, we were talking about Snizzard earlier. Here he is next to original Snizzard. And I feel like these guys size out pretty well. Nice little monster collection going at this point, because I have these two guys, and then I have Pumpkin Rapper and Sphinx in a bin at the moment. But yeah, I like this guy a fair bit more than I was expecting to, and I was going to get this guy when he originally came out. I just had to drop the pre-order for budget reasons at the time. But now that I have him, I really dig him. Definitely want to get some photos of this guy going. Very, very solid figure. Man, how much you guys want to bet we're getting a re-release of this with just some slight remolding to make it Robo Snizzard? That's gotta happen. I can totally see that happening. But I will put them back over there. And oh, what am I thinking? Let's show how iGuy looks next to a Ranger. Here it is next to Mighty Morphin Red. I forget which wave this particular release I have was in, but this is a single carded Mighty Morphin Red. I know some people, I think I said this on the last stream when I unboxed Snizzard, I know some people don't like that the monsters are so much bigger than the Rangers, but I like it for like an intimidation factor. It looks cool to me. But having watched 2017 before this, it was nice to see colors. Oh man, that's yeah, I can agree with that, Buster. Oh man, Rita's palace was dimly lit but still tolerable. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's get into some production value stuff. Right after I pick the next thing I'm gonna open, and I think I wanna hold the remasters back for a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop into this Loki, which is another thing that I got on sale recently. This was on clearance at Target for $8. Marvel Legends are usually $22, $25 depending on where you go these days, so really good deal. And I did want this Loki, even though I don't collect movie stuff. Really loved this version of the character from the Loki Disney Plus series, and this figure, in my opinion, is the closest we've gotten to a classic comic Loki. I know they've done a few comic-specific Lokis that are meant to be this kind of look, but they're just not there. Like, the last one I think came in the Infinity War wave, and his scale mail was just painted on. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. And that didn't work for me. I wanted a Loki with, like, the cape and the big goofy horns and the molding like this guy has. So this is going to be my standing comic Loki for the time being, until they make one I'm satisfied with. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start cracking into it. Production value close to, I can see a Robo. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where I left off in the chat. Sorry. I can see 1000% see Robo Snizzard and Minotaur combo pack. I can see it as a combo pack with, like, the machine as, like, maybe an SDCC or PulseCon exclusive, but I don't know about regular release. I could see them being, like, a whole deluxe wave unto themselves. Like, that remastered Rita they showed at the fan stream on Monday, I think. Okay, here's a prediction I have. I know we have rumors about things that could potentially be the SDCC or Pulse exclusive this year, but I personally think it's going to be Robo Rita out of that new Rita with the time travel machine. Like a full prop, like not 1/1 scale prop, but Lightning Collection scale prop of it. I could really see that happening in the not-too-distant future as an exclusive of some kind. And I could see Robo Minotaur and Robo Snizzard being a deluxe wave. But I'm actually going to take a real quick break before we continue. I will literally be right back. My dog wants out of the room, so I have to get up and go open the door for her. Be right back, everybody. Go on. Hey, you here? Alright, I'm live. Just wanted to get out of the room so I can take a quick break. Have you done this look yet? Oh, okay. I thought you said you were swinging back home before the group earlier, so. Okay. Yep. Love you too. Sorry about that. Hope the audio wasn't too bad during that. I forgot to turn off my mic, and also turned on my window AC for a minute just to cool it down in here a little bit. And I didn't realize. So if you heard a bunch of like fan noise, that's what that was. Sorry about that. But where was I leaving off? Okay. Okay. As expected, it was basically production value close to Dino Fury. I can agree with that, but I also think this was like a slight step up from that. And I already thought Dino Fury looked really good, but the production value in this I thought was fantastic. Most everything looked really nice, in my opinion. The only complaint I had was just like, there were a couple shots where the CGI of the Megazord didn't look too great to me. I really liked the CGI on the individual Zords during the summoning sequence. I thought that looked phenomenal. I almost couldn't tell it was CG. But the actual Megazord, something about the textures and the rendering of it there just looked a little bit janky. Not terrible. I've certainly seen worse from Power Rangers and Sentai as far as CGI goes. But I think it looked just a bit off. Audio was fine during the break? Okay, that's good to hear. There's some really dope moves in choreography. Yeah, the fight scenes in this I thought were fantastic. Everybody really brought their A game for that. I was surprised with how much the actors actually did. There were very rare moments where I was like, oh, that's a stunt double. Or, oh, they're clearly shooting around a stunt double there. Like, there's a full-on flip that Walter Jones does during the fight scene in the juice bar that is clearly actually him doing it, and I'm like, holy shit, that's amazing for his age. Megazord fight was jank. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't terrible. We've certainly seen way worse in the Power Rangers franchise, the original movie, for instance, or like even some recent seasons. Like, I would say the probably as recent as, like, maybe Ninja Steel. Some of the CGI in that was worse than this. But for American Original Power Rangers CGI, I thought they did a decent job. And I was impressed that we got a full-on Megazord fight. I thought it might be just, like, a quick thing from the trailer, but the fact that we got full-on Megazord fight, we got a rebuilt set. That was one of the biggest things production value-wise that impressed me with this. Like, obviously we knew they would be shooting on location in New Zealand, but, like, during the lead-up to this, and actually watching this, seeing just how many sets they built and how big and expansive they were, that was really impressive. That shows me that, like, Hasbro and Netflix really put their whole ass and, like, a good budget into this thing. And I was really impressed with just how everything looked. Like, they replicated the juice bar set down to the minutest detail from MMPR, which I was so impressed with. Like, it's a little weird that the juice bar hasn't changed its decor in, like, 30 years. It still looks like a 90s neon nightmare. But for the cheesiness of Power Rangers, I kind of love that. And the fact that it's still around is really cool. The fact that, like, they showed so much of the world is still alive too, like with the Bandora protocols thing, seeing all those town names come up and all the captured Rangers. Like, it could have very easily just been Rangers from the first 6 seasons that all relate to Zordon and Rita and all that, but no, they had characters from all across there. And it was also kind of impressive that, like, they weren't actually Lightning Collection figures. We all thought they were Lightning Collection figures for the longest time. And then you watch the actual close-ups in the special, and it's clearly like new molded little figurines they made. Again, they could have cheapened out, but they didn't. The one thing that I'm like, oh, that's clearly a toy they're using, is the what was it? The Morphers. The Morphers are still clearly the Legacy Power Morpher toy, but that's fine. And again, speaking about production value there, they reshot the morph, they shot a new morph from scratch, they didn't use stock footage, and we finally get to see what a Mighty Morphin Instamorph looks like. And like, it's nothing super impressive, it's not like beyond what we'd expect, but it's pretty on par, and I think that's great. Yeah, I'm just getting into Loki's accessories here. Overall with this figure, by the way, because I've been messing with this figure the entire time I've been talking, I think he's pretty solid. The articulation feels fairly robust and tight. All the stuff you'd want is here. The one thing I'd maybe complain about is the cape. It is like a solid chunk of plastic. It's not like a thin rubber cape. It is straight up a plastic cape that'll just sit flush against his back. So like, you're not going to get a lot of action shots with this guy, but then again, he didn't do a lot of like crazy cape flying around action in the show either, so probably shouldn't have expected that. But it might be really hard to replace this too, so I don't know about that, but I'm gonna crack into the accessories real quick here, because they come in their own separate little tissue paper bags. The juice bar set was near. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Buster. Is near a slang term I don't know yet? Here's Khonshu's leg for anybody who cares. That's going in a parts bin. So yeah, we got an alternate stern head. Just kind of a stern expression there on him. It's really hard to get my webcam to focus. There we go. And for comparison, there's the head that's on him in the box. I'm not going to swap parts on this guy just for the sake of brevity, and because I've already spent way longer on two toys than I thought I would. He comes with some spell casting hands. They are from the back. And he comes with a couple of arm effects parts for those spell casting hands. So I think it's pretty solid bang for your buck for $8. I'm supremely satisfied with this. Don't know if the full 25 would be worth it to me, but to get it for this deal, it's really good. I don't have a 4 to compare him to at the moment. I'm waiting to get that 60th 4 that is coming out later this year, presumably. They haven't put a pre-order up for it yet, but that 2-pack with 4 in the Destroyer, I'm probably going to get that and have that be my shelf 4 from now on. But here he is next to Black Panther, which is, again, on the current standard Vulcan body. So very soon, if you're still collecting Marvel Legends, you'll have a lot of figures about this size. You can see what they look like next to him. And I'm just going to set Loki over there, and I will get into something else before we hit on the chat. Let's do some Star Wars real quick. Let's do Micro Galaxy Squadron AAT Battle Tank. This is another prequel thing, a design that's really close to my heart. I've always loved these tanks. I've driven them around in Battlefront 2 tons and tons of times as a kid. Of course, when it came out in the Micro Galaxy Squadron, you knew I was going to get it. So, I'm going to go ahead and start popping this over. You meant neat. You meant to say it was neat. Okay. I thought so, but I was like, you know, you're a youngin' compared to me, Buster, so I don't always know the slang with you. By the way, if anybody is watching this and wants to see more of my thoughts on Once and Always in a couple days, and just generally wants to see me talking about Tokusatsu on a more regular basis, friendly reminder, I have a Tokusatsu podcast called This Week in Toku over on the YouTube channel at Modular Media. Myself and Buster, we talk about all the latest news and new releases every Tuesday at noon. You'll want to subscribe and check it out. It's a good time. But the The Bandora protocols you are mixed on because it implies a larger story than we got, but also lets your imagination run wild. Yeah, that was one of the complaints I saw going around, that you only ever see Mighty Morphin Rangers outside of the little statues. And, like, I can get being upset about that, but, again, they signal posted, this is very specifically Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 30th anniversary thing. And I'm fine with that. I don't mind not having other characters show up, because it's not like they had hinted at or shown anyone else. It was very much, this is what you're getting, and here it is. And I think that was fine. Okay. Alright, sorry, just taking a quick look at this thing. This, I think, is pretty tight. I really like how this turned out. Wasn't sure what to expect because I hadn't seen any reviews of it, but the side turrets can pivot up and down. You got the main turret pivots up and down. It also rotates. I wasn't sure if it was going to do that. Wasn't sure if it was going to open, but if I can get my thumbnail in there, Jesus. There we go. It does pop open, and you can put a figure in there, and the front part opens, and you can put a figure in there. It only comes with one figure. It comes with a Geonosis battle droid. I'm not going to take him out of his thing yet, because he's tiny. We don't want to lose him right now. But I really like how this thing looks, too. I feel like there's a lot of real good painted detail on here. The sort of faded lines for the cannons along the front are really well done. There's a nice subtle wash across the top of the body. And the sculpt is pretty on point from what I remember of these things. Especially with the little stand there being clear. And it is removable, but you're going to want it to make this thing stand upright. I just tried standing it on the desk without it, and it didn't stay upright. And speaking of clear parts, nice little clear wheels on the bottom, so you can just kind of roll it along. Pretty smart engineering here. I'm really digging the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. Most of the things I have from it so far have worked out. Here it is next to the Slave 1, which I unboxed on a previous live stream, and the Genevex Starfighter. Those are the only two Separatist things I have at the moment that you can see how they scale next to this thing. I will say it's very light, not really much weight to it at all, but I don't expect a ton of weight from Western retail toys these days, so I'm not super bent out of shape about that at all. Pretty happy with how that turned out. It looks how I expected it to, and it does everything I expected it to do. I kind of like Alpha being a suck up to Billy. I don't know why it cracked me up. Yeah, it was pretty funny. There were some good Alpha lines in this. Like, he feels very on point. I know it's Alpha 9, but that Alpha feels very on point with Alpha 5. And, as far as why he was a suck-up to Billy, I mean, Billy did make him, so I guess that makes sense. Wasn't Alpha 5 like a bit of a suck-up to Zordon? Not sure. Yeah, I think that's right. And, like, again, a lot of great lines with Alpha 5. Like, the whole, my sensors are detecting a vibe. That was hilarious. Yeah, next I think we're going to crack into the Micro Galaxy Squadron blind boxes. This is Series 2. We've unboxed a Series 1 on this stream before. There's not a ton in this wave I really want. Just trying to think of the word. The regular ones, the commons basically, are Leia with a speeder bike, a clone trooper with a speeder bike, a battle droid with a staff, one of the Bad Batch guys with a walker, and I think that's Mando with a speeder bike. And then there's a few chases in the wave as well. I don't know what they are because I don't follow this line's news too well, but I really just want a clone trooper with a speeder bike and a battle droid on a staff, because I feel like that'll go really well with what I have so far. But hey, look at that! Got a clone trooper with a speeder bike, so that's one done. Hopefully the other one will be just as lucky. If I can get a battle droid with a staff, I won't need to buy any more Series 2 blind boxes. A lot of really nice painted detail on that. Love the silver they've been using in this line. It's very bright and shiny in person. I think he should just pop down in there. So what else can we talk about with this special? I guess we can, like, start just going into, like, Easter eggs that we really liked. Obviously, the Bulkmeyer and Skolovich food supplies one, that really got me. I like that implies that, like, post-Samurai, Bulk is no longer on the verge of homelessness constantly. He probably got back involved with that business. Bulkmeyer's expanded out. And all that, seems cool, seems fun, and just the look of the little billboard there was, really cracked me up. I had to pause, go back, read it, and it just made me laugh even more. But there's what your clone boy looks like on his little speeder bike. Pretty nice, I guess for comparison's sake. Here he is next to an AT-RT from Series 1. Pretty decent. Pretty good scaling right there, if I do remember my Star Wars lore correctly. Oh, man. I like how they did a faux OP sequence at the end. It was cute. Yeah, it was really, nice, actually. It felt a little disjointed coming off of the actual, like, in memoriam segment, but I'm glad that it's there and that they didn't omit that, because the intro is one of the most iconic things about Power Rangers. And I'm gonna go ahead and crack into the second one of these. And I actually really was impressed initially with the beginning of it, that they made it just give, like, a brief establishing of the world and how it works, and then they throw you into a situation. And... oh, are you serious? Well, would you look at that? Is that what that is? Yeah, okay. I think I got a chase of some sort, because I got Beskar Mando with a speeder bike, and on the regulars they show just episode 1 Mando with the salvaged armor on a speeder bike. I'm gonna look up real quick, actually, what the chases are in Series 2. This is wigging me out a little bit here. Oh! Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna save that real quick so I can look back at that. Apparently, the printing on the pack is wrong. This is supposed to be Beskar Mando. They just put Jank Armor Mando on the box for some reason. So this is not a rare. This is a common I did not want, which is unfortunate. I'm only trying to collect the prequels. Oh my god, that's really cute. There's a little molded in Baby Yoda on the side of the speeder bike. I've only been collecting the prequel stuff. I do like The Mandalorian though, so I might as well keep this. I mean, it is... I don't know. I'm not gonna, like, intentionally seek out the bigger Mando stuff, but I'm not gonna resell this right away, I don't think. I do like how this looks. You got the tiny little Mando, comes with his jetpack, got that nice silver paint all over it. Yeah, this is doing it for me. Oh man, I'm a sucker. I should be really upset that I didn't get the other one, the other blind pack I wanted, because now I'm gonna have to buy another one to get a staff. At least one more. I might just buy a loose staff off eBay. You can probably do that, right? But, yeah, no. That's cool. That's solid. I wish the actors were on set, but that little picture is one of the funniest things of the special. Yeah, it would have been cool to get Bulk and Skull back, to get the actors actually back, but, like, I don't know how you incorporate them into this story. Like, the best I could think is have them actually be running the juice bar. Like, they bought it, it's now a Bulk Myers location or something like that. But, I don't know. I think, like, that might not have been worth it to fly those two out to New Zealand. Wish Adam and Aisha got more... That's something I can definitely agree with. Only having those actors back for 2 scenes, that's a bit of a loss, in my opinion. That's one of the few nitpicks I have story-wise. Like, it makes sense, having them be all the way out there so you don't just have Aisha become the Yellow Ranger, and you don't have 2 Black Rangers running around, and then you have a good explanation for how the Rangers are going to get unshrunk without having to explain why we're not seeing those actors back. Just be like, oh, we gotta take them to Aquitar to get unshrunk. That all makes sense, it all works in the story, but I would have liked to have seen them get at least one fight scene, because I know that Johnny Young Bosch knows some karate. He could have done a little bit. I'm not sure about Karen Ashley, though. I assume she knows a little bit, and might still be capable. I don't know. Johnny Young Bosch, though, definitely could have gotten more to do. I will say, though, yeah, I did pop for the mention of the Trubian Empire, and the fact that they're wearing badges that say SPA. Nice little bit of world building there. I'd be very surprised if in 2025, whatever season comes out that year, we get aliens incorporated into the cast. But I like the idea that there's like a Ranger team or a team of characters out there in a ship of some kind, trying to map out the galaxy and get Earth a better understanding of it. Like, I'd like to think post Dino Fury, what with the alien invasion and everything, we have a world that's like trying to expand out into space a little bit more, and maybe they're a part of that, and they'll set up SPD at some point. At least that's what I feel like all that is trying to imply. Maybe just wishful thinking on my part. Mando Season 3 thoughts? I really enjoyed Mando Season 3. It wasn't quite as good as Season 2, in my opinion, but it was still pretty good. It felt like a natural continuation of the story. Really liked everything they did with progressing Din's character and Bo's character. I don't see why people got so upset during the later episodes about Bo-Katan getting more focus. It made sense for the story they were telling, and it made sense given that it's a show named after her race, and like she's one of the first Mandalorians an entire generation of Star Wars fans knew. It felt like just whiny man-children in that case of complaining about a character getting focus. And I really dug the new status quo they set up. I'm interested in seeing how that feels moving forward. My only real complaint is that some of the fight scenes, just because of the fact that it was so. I'm trying to talk generally too, because I don't want to spoil Buster. I know Buster hasn't watched it. Some of the fight scenes in the last 2 episodes with the type of action they were doing, it just got a little hard to follow at points for me. And I don't really know what could have been done to improve that, because I'm not an action director. I don't know that kind of stuff. But I think it went... overall, I did like the season. And I am looking forward to seeing how they pick up with this corner of the Star Wars universe in Ahsoka. You forgot what the Trubian Empire meant. The Trubian Empire, that's the empire that Emperor Grum runs in SPD, Buster. There was a reference to Edenoi. I don't remember there being a reference to Edenoi. I might have missed that. I remember Aquitar and Miranoi getting name dropped, but I don't remember Edenoi ever. Just me, though. Alright, I think next... I don't know. Let's get this guy out of the way, because I've been sitting on this guy for a little bit. We got G.I. Joe Classified Series, Tiger Force Recondo. I've been, like you guys know, I love Classified Series. We've talked about it before a couple of times, and gotta admit, I dig Rekondo's Tiger Force look a little bit more than his classic look. And he's one of the few Joe characters I'll honestly say that for. Because he doesn't go too hard on the yellow, or the orange, or the tiger mythology. It's just a darker color scheme with some subtle tiger stripes, and I think that really works. And just looks more visually interesting than the khakis his regular look has. So I am just gonna get him out of the package now. It was probably Miranoi? Yeah. Because the Miranoi name drop, I specifically remember it being like in that final scene in the juice bar. Billy says to Min, "Can I get you a souvenir from Miranoi, maybe?" or something like that. Yeah, I think that's what that line was. I had to think for a second, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And it was a nice subtle nod. And there's a lot of, like I said, one of the biggest things about the whole special is there's a lot of really cool subtle nods like that. Like all the towns showing up in the Bandora protocols. Just trying to think of the other thing. Oh yeah, I saw, somebody pointed out to me on Twitter, the grave, that Minotaur, the headstone that Minotaur smashes in the graveyard scene, the name on it is the frickin' talk show host from the episode of MMPR where the Rangers were on a talk show. I didn't realize that, and that's kind of amazing. Though RIP to that character, I guess. Like they were ever gonna bring him back. But the fact that they put in a reference that specific was cool. The fact that they brought up, again in that final scene, High Five and the Trouble with Shell Shock. that was impressive. What's something else that kind of threw me? I don't know, just a lot of great little moments. What are you saying, bruh, to, Buster? I missed it. I'm assuming it's one of the things I brought up. Was it the graves? Was it the headstone? Because, yeah, that was a bruh moment when I saw that on Twitter. Also, like, hopping back to Billy for a second, something I keep meaning to bring up and then forgetting. Getting David Yost back on the show for the 30th anniversary, and I'm assuming paying everyone really well, because he said he got invited back for Super Mega Force and chose not to come back because they were only going to, like, pay him enough for airfare. So bringing him back, presumably paying him well enough to come back, and then giving us the first on-screen male gay couple in Power Rangers, that was pretty amazing to see. And it wasn't called attention to, wasn't made a huge deal out of, just a natural part of the world, in a scene, in the story. And it's not a huge... Yeah, the talk show guy. Okay, just wanted to confirm. But that whole sequence was wonderful, and also, like, made a whole like, annoying day of my life make sense. Because I regularly talk about how annoyed I get at Power Rangers Twitter. There was a time when an image of the overturned car in that scene leaked, and we all thought the worst. We all thought, like, oh no, they killed Trini in a car crash. That takes it from being a touching tribute to really insensitive. And then we saw the trailer and we were like, oh no, she gets zapped by Rita. That's okay. But now it's like, oh, that was an actual leak. It just wasn't what we thought it was. That was really cool to have all that line up. Really cool moment for me, at least, as somebody who spends way too much time on Twitter, I guess. But yeah, this Recondo, I am really digging this guy. Very well detailed. Lots of accessory storage. I think all these parts are new, as far as the weapons and whatnot. I'm pretty sure these are pants I've seen before, and this might be a shirt I've seen before. But it all flows together fairly well. The only problem I'm having is his hips are just a slight bit loose, and his knee joints are both stuck at the top hinge. So I'm going to have to carefully fix all that off screen, but that's like minor stuff to me. It's still complete. It's not breaking on camera, and it looks really, really good. I dig this dude's look. Real quick, just for comparison's sake, here he is next to the only other Tiger Force figure I have, Outback, and yeah, these guys, they look really nice together. These guys are probably going to be a duo in my figure photography going forward. Still haven't had time to photograph Outback at all, so I'm probably going to photograph these guys together in the not too distant future. Really dig how he turned out. Love the classified line. Twitter brained. Yeah, that's a word for it, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna let chat decide, because, or I guess I'm gonna let Buster decide, because Buster has been the only one in chat typing all night. I see 3 people are watching at the moment, but I will let chat decide. Do we do the remasters last tonight, or do we do the Mythic Legions last? Because, and while y'all are deciding that, I'm going to crack into Spot here, because I just remembered that he still hasn't been opened. Because I should have done him and Loki back to back. I just forgot because he fell over while I was grabbing at something else. So yeah. Marvel Legends, Into the Spider-Verse, the Spot. Again, I don't normally do movie stuff, But the Spot is one of my favorite obscure Marvel characters, and I've been asking for him to get a Marvel Legends for years. And so, even though it would be the easiest thing in the world for them to just do the regular Marvel Legends body, for them to just take, where did I put Black Panther? To just take the Vulcan body, cast it in white, paint a bunch of black polka dots on it, and give it like a blank head. That's all the Spot figure I need. They haven't done it. So, when I saw that we were getting a Marvel Legends for Spider-Verse, the Spot, like, for one, I'm excited for this guy to finally get in an adaptation other than the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, which is where I was introduced to him. I had to get it. Even though this isn't the classic design or the design from Mark Waid's Daredevil, which is where I really fell in love with Spot. Like, I got introduced to him in that episode of the 90s show, but his appearance in Mark Waid's Daredevil, that's where I was like, oh, this is a cool character. You can do some interesting stuff with him. This is good enough for now. I'm gonna open this, I'm gonna enjoy this, and I'm gonna wait patiently for them to do a comic one. Remasters last. Okay, so we're doing Spot, and then we're doing the Mythic Legions, and then we're doing the remasters. And hopefully that won't take too much longer, because we're already an hour and 20 minutes into this, basically. Let me get a quick drink of water before I start working on this retro card, because... yeah, the retro cards with Hasbro are usually a bit of a bear, because they don't just glue the card onto... they don't just glue the bubble onto a card, they sandwich it between two pieces of cardboard. So you really gotta rip and tear here to get it out. Or you could just gracefully cut it apart, I guess, with a box cutter, but like... it's a card back. You want to tear it apart. That's like part of the fun from when you were a kid. To me, at least. And, like, I'm not planning to put this guy back in the box. This is going right in the recycling can for me. Oh, man, he's a toughie. Okay. There we go. Look at all that damage I had to do to this cardboard to get it open. Got quite the recycling pile going at the moment. Okay. I'm gonna actually scoot some of this over real quick. Yeah, we're getting Ben Reilly in that movie. So much cool stuff coming in across the Spider-Verse. I'm definitely excited for that movie. Really loved the first Spider-Verse. I thought it was probably the best thing Sony's ever done with the Spider-Man license. And I think Across the Spider-Verse will just be a natural extension of that. Actually, I did notice something about this guy before I forget. So, the one that's coming out this year is called Across the Spider-Verse. And I think originally it was supposed to be two sequels. Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and Part 2. And then a few months ago, they announced that it was actually going to be... this one is Across the Spider-Verse, the next one is Beyond the Spider-Verse. They basically did the Infinity War Endgame thing of changing it after they announced it. But this packaging, you can tell they've been working on this figure for a little bit. This packaging still says Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. That's kind of funny. But, let's get the rest of this out of here. And this is another thing where, like, I haven't watched a review of this ahead of time. Actually, I haven't watched a review of most of this ahead of time. I had seen a review of iGuy, and I had seen a review of the remasters and the Mythic Legions, but everything else tonight, I'm fairly fresh on. Which makes sense, because, this wave of Marvel Legends is actually fairly new. I don't believe it's shipped online yet. It just started showing up at Walmart's early. Oh my goodness, look. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Being very careful, because these are some thin-ass arms. A lot of the merch still has part 1 on it? Okay, that's interesting. Guess it's just one of those things. Yeah, the hybrid between 2D and 3D animation recently has been really interesting to spectate as a casual animation fan for me. Like, I'm not crazy into it. I still haven't seen the Mitchells versus the Machines. I would like to, I just haven't had time. But, like, I like the way it looks in Spider-Verse. I think Mutant Mayhem looks pretty interesting. And, I think, that new, what was it? That new Pinocchio? Does that do that, or is that stop motion? I forget. Such a creative style. Definitely agree, Buster. But yeah, I am... Okay, so... This is about what I was expecting. I'm impressed a little bit with how much range you can get on the hips here, and on the torso cut. Like, I didn't think this would be able to move at all, but the fact that it can turn like that, the fact that it has a good bit of back and a little bit forward is really nice. But these limbs are crazy thin, and I am, like, being super gentle articulating them, because they feel like they're going to flex right off the joint. Which, if you're going to make these accurate to the animation style, you kind of just have to deal with that. But man, it is scary articulating this guy. Like, the upper elbow and the hips here, the joints just feel tight enough that I'm not comfortable moving them very much. There's just no give on them. And with it being this thin, I don't want to force it. Unless I can, like, heat them up beforehand. So I might do that later, along with fixing Ricondo's joints. But the sculpt on this is really nice. It looks very accurate to the animation model. Right down to, like, there's a weird little, like, bulge here. He's got love handles. Yeah, because they're on both sides. These are totally love handles. It's an action figure with love handles. That's hilarious. His shoulder blades are, you can kind of see them. I'm not sure if I can get it to focus. You can kind of see him there. Just barely. In fact, those are picked out. That's a really cool subtle detail. Considering how unique this body type is, I would have liked it if they had maybe sculpted in some of the spots, but they are all just painted on. I thought from photos, the spot on his head might be sculpted in, but it's not. It is all just tampoed or painted on there. And overall, as just finally a Marvel Legends figure of the spot, I am satisfied with this, but it doesn't stop me from wanting a comic version. This is a good placeholder for now, I think. And he does also come with alternate fists, because he's just got a flat open hand and a gripping hand out of the box. And then, where did the other one go? He comes with this little stand and snap-on effects parts to have it be like Miles's jumping through spots, which is cool. It's a cool little thing. I'm not totally sure how to make it work in, like, a photography scenario, but I'll work it out at a later date. Let's do some quick scaling with this guy. So, again, bring out our tried and true buddy T'Challa here. Put him next to him. A little bit taller, but I think that works because they're going for, like, the lanky, kind of schlubby, spooky Scrimblow look. And speaking of Scrimblows, here's another favorite obscure Spider-Man villain of mine. Shocker. Depending on the day, one of these guys is my favorite Spider-Man villain, just because of I loved Spot in his one episode of the animated series as a kid, and I really like his appearance in Mark Waid's Daredevil. And I really liked Shocker in the animated series as a kid. And I actually had the Spider-Man Free figure of Shocker, which looks very similar to this as a kid. So a lot of nostalgic memories with Shocker, and Spot is just a character I've wanted a figure of a long time. So cool to finally have them together. But, of course, it's a Spider-Man villain. You want to show it next to Spider-Man. Here he is with the Renew Your Vows pack Spider-Man, which is my go-to Peter Parker. I don't think I actually own any other Peter Parkers at the moment. But here he is next to... this is not Spider-Verse Miles, this is PS4 Miles, the Marvel Legends. Because, in my opinion, this is the best Miles figure they've made to date. It comes with matching sets of alternate hands. It's very, very articulated. Can get in just about as many poses as the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, and just looks close enough to a comic Miles that it works as that for me. So there those two are next to each other. This is kind of my shelf Miles. I did briefly have a Spider-Verse Miles, but I got rid of it during the Great Toy Purge of 2022. So yeah, I think that's all the comparisons for that guy. Pretty solid. Feeling it for the most part. We're going to move on. We're going to get into Mythic Legions after I catch up with the chat. Spider-Verse figs are fascinating to see since they're animation first and merchandisable second. Yeah. It is really crazy, especially in comparison to the MCU Marvel Legends we've been getting, where at times it almost feels like they're planning ahead for action figures. Like, I love No Way Home, I think it's a fantastic movie, but you can't deny all the little changes to Spider-Man's suit in that movie, throughout that movie. Very blatantly just, we want to make more Spider-Man toys for people to buy, because they made Marvel Legends of every version of the suit from that. Okay, really sorry about all that, guys. My internet just randomly went down on me, right in the middle of the stream there. It's been an hour. I was on the phone with my ISP for an hour. Holy crap. I cannot believe the link is still working. Usually when you're gone for like more than 5 minutes, YouTube just auto-cancels the stream and makes it into an archive. That's crazy. Oh, Blazer News is out? That's interesting, Buster. I'll definitely have to look into that as soon as I'm done here. I don't know. Should we do the final stuff, or should I just call it a night? Because I was actually expecting to be done by now originally. I'm not sure. It has... Oh boy. That was crazy. Wow. Well, you know what? Since... Oh, okay, we're getting Blazer News tomorrow. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Oh boy. Call it a night? Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened, but I think it's pretty miraculous that I got the stream back up. I really don't have time to do another one of these soon, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and unbox these on my own time. I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to get you guys some impressions on the remastered figures. I don't think anybody particularly cared about my opinion on Mythic Legions. I'm not even sure if my audience really knows about that line. But just to recap, let's do some quick recap while we're here, while I got you, for archival purposes. During the stream, stuff we opened. Okay, so Micro Galaxy Squadron, Droid Battle Tank, really cool. Exactly what I would have wanted. Blind packs. We got Mando on a speeder bike. Wasn't going for him, but he's pretty good. We got the Clone Trooper on a speeder bike. Again, pretty good. Then we had Disney Plus Loki. Really dig this guy. Wish his cape wasn't quite so hard, but other than that, he's pretty solid. I did put the alternate hands on while I was on the phone with my ISP. Let's talk about the Spot. Put him in this pose while I was on the phone. I was just kind of casually messing with stuff while I was on the phone. Don't love this guy, but he's good enough until they make a comic Spot for me. Similarly with Recondo, pretty solid. About what I expect from a classified series at this point. Guy, and hey, I was able to get the cap off his eye with a spudger while I was waiting on hold, and I got the effects part in there. Really dig this guy. I think he's another very solid Monsters figure. And the Fortnite arcade, pretty good. Pretty solid for what it is. But I'm glad I got it on sale. So, thank you guys so much for sticking with me through this. I know we had a crazy mishap there with the internet going out. I really appreciate it. Again, if you have the time, if you got it in your mind, please support the channel. Hit the like, comment down below if you're watching on the replay, subscribe, turn on those notifications, all that good stuff. And hey, new video out tomorrow. It's not Power Rangers related. It's going to be on some DC Comics related stuff, sorta, kinda. If you want to see it early, it is up on the Patreon right now, patreon.com/thevacuuminator. Just pledge $1. You can watch it right now. It's been up since Monday night, so probably worth pledging to that Patreon. Yeah, guys. For as crazy as it was, I did enjoy discussing Once and Always with all of you. I did enjoy opening and messing around with these figures. Are we doing remastered next time? I'm pretty busy the rest of the week, Buster. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pop them open on my own time. It's unfortunate, and it's also just really annoying that this whole kerfuffle happened, because I was planning this to be the last one for a while, because I can't really buy this many toys for a while. Over the summer, there's a lot of movies coming out I want to see. I gotta save for some trips I have planned for the fall, and just overall, probably shouldn't be spending this much money on toys this time of year anyway. I've been budgeting well. I've been being wise with my money this year, but I gotta cut it back even more so to just like 1 or 2 things a month for the next few months. And I don't really feel like that's stream worthy, but maybe I'll come up with something else to do on a stream. Maybe I'll see you guys again live in the future, and you'll always see me for new videos on the channel every week, as best as I can do. So, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.